welcome back to Smashing Heads podcast for the Challenge USA episode 4. We are on time and on schedule and on target because we wait until these come out on Thursdays on Paramount Plus because...
On the app.
Yes, because they're more fun to watch uncensored. And also... I don't like watching the playback from YouTube TV for some reason. Mm-hmm. So I've already canceled that because they're going to be on Paramount Plus anyway. So I'm here with Hannah, and my name is Zach. And you're here as well.
Yes.
Yeah. We might have a third person joining us later on.
Maybe.
That's a tempting little...
Maybe. The last time we recorded, we had a third person. He snored halfway through.
Oh, well, I mean, our dog's not a person.
You're right. He's a baby.
Yeah, and you know what? He's in his crate right now because earlier today he decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to run upstairs when you're not looking and go into your podcast room and poop in the floor. And he hasn't done that in a long time.
He was mad at you for something.
He wasn't mad. That was the thing. He was hanging out with me, and then he gave me no signs that he wanted to go out. And then I go in the bathroom, and then when I come out, I was like, man, something smells weird. And he's just laying on the couch. So that means he, like, for how much time I was in the bathroom was not very long. So that means in the time, because I heard him scurrying around outside the door. So he ran in here, did it, and then ran out of this room and then ran to our couch in the living room and then just laid down. Because when I walked out, he just kind of popped his head up to look around at me. And I was like, man, what's that smell? And then I came in here and he had pooped in the floor.
That's the smell of premeditation.
Yeah, it was
it was a plan.
It was like, oh, if I go on the couch, he won't know it's me.
It was a plan that was really well executed.
Yeah. Well, I caught you, Winston.
I wonder if it's because today was my first day back at work in like a week and a half.
But we weren't here for a whole week before that.
I know, but for the last several days, I've sat on the couch with him and like he's just like laid in my lap and slept all day. And I wonder if because I didn't do that with him today, he's upset. Maybe he's mad at me.
He probably is, but he
took it out on you.
Yeah, and so he's been in a little bit of trouble, but he hasn't done that in a while, so it's pretty unusual. Because again, we got him he was a stray from the Humane Society, so it took a little bit. He never really peed in the house, but every so often, if you would not watch him, he would find like an area on hardwood floors where no one was at the time, and he would go poop over there.
And then not say anything.
Well, yeah, of course he didn't say anything. What are you talking about?
But he would just act.
Do you think, okay, how many dogs have you had in your life? How many of them have gone in the bathroom and come up to you and been like, it's over there. It's there. It's right here. None. The answer is none.
I mean, like when Buster has accidents, he tells me.
How? But Buster sulks.
He gets like this shameful, guilty look, and like he pouts around.
Yeah,
like
he doesn't tell you,
but he tells.
Yeah. No, Winston doesn't do that. Winston's like, I don't know who's in there, but it happens. But we actually might have a third guest, someone who you're familiar with, but I don't know what time he's going to be here. We initially told him we were starting to record like 20 minutes ago. So he might show up at the end of this podcast, or he might not show up until way later because he's habitually late.
And he may not be on this, so I wasn't going to announce it.
It's fine. They know who he is. He's an old, long-time listener.
He is a long-time listener. It's Dawson.
Yeah. So we just watched the challenge, episode 4. How are you feeling about this season? I don't know if I asked you this last episode.
You did not. You gave your feelings.
Did I?
You did.
Okay.
You did not ask my feelings.
So I'm gonna put a poll.
So are you gonna ask my feelings?
Yeah, I am. But I am gonna put a poll up on our Twitter to kind of see where the audience is at. Mm-hmm. Because I have my feelings about it.
Yeah. Okay.
What are yours?
If it were on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being
like War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds, and 1 being what was the really bad one? Final Reckoning?
Final Reckoning
or
was
vendettas.
Final Reckoning was like episode 3 before we got an elimination, and it was a lot of drama. And I think it was the first time they went to an hour and a half format.
So probably Final Reckoning or like one of those.
Yeah.
Being one.
Our first season to cover.
Yeah. So on a scale from 1 to 10, I give this a 6.
I was gonna say 7.
It's for me. It's about middle of the road, but a little bit better. It's a little better than it is worse.
I feel like if this season had people we were familiar with, it would bump it up a number or 2.
Yeah. I think because I don't know any of these people, I don't have any attachments to them.
So that's our problem.
Yeah.
Because we don't watch these people.
So it's that's an ish me, not an ish other people watching this.
Yeah. I do think that's a big problem for us. Like, there's too many D names. I've already gone over that. I accidentally said
they're all the same people.
Yeah, I accidentally said Derek was who Connor and Grimm didn't like, but I caught myself in that episode. I meant it was David, who got the most screen time by far in this episode. But then you have David and Dominic, and there's probably more D's.
Danny, Derek.
Yeah, did I not say that already?
I don't know. There's
so it's Danny,
Desi,
Derek, David, Dominic,
Desi.
Well, yeah, I wasn't counting the girls, but yeah, there's Desi, and then Shannon. That's not a D name.
There's Shannon and there's Shan, and sometimes when they say their names too quickly, I don't know who they're talking about. Like I don't catch. Like
you have that problem when we watch Taskmaster, which, by the way,
I love Taskmaster.
We talked about it. It's a show that the more you watch, the better it gets.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah, and
it's better with better. The series with James Acaster.
So you're British now. You're saying the series.
That's what they're called.
They are, because they don't say seasons.
Well, but the thing is, like, I was a fan of James Acaster.
Yeah.
Long before watching series 4.
No.
Which one was it?
It's like 7.
7. Okay.
7.
Well, we're going out of order.
Yeah, because we started 4, and you're like, I don't like these people, so I skipped ahead.
Yeah, but James Acaster on Taskmaster is perfect.
Great.
It's so.
But that whole season
all the
was
things
good.
that I could have ever wanted.
That season was a good balance of people.
Yeah, all the people on that season were great.
Yeah, and they played off each other well, because then you had the guy named Rod, who was like old time friends with the Taskmaster. Mm-hmm. So they have this big back and forth going where a lot of things happen, and then you have one of the dumbest people I've ever seen on the show. What's her name? I don't even remember her name. Jess, and then Kari is like very straightforward, like get it done, and there's one more who I can't think of. Oh yeah, Phil Wang.
Phil Wang wears a leotard the whole time.
Yeah, that is a great season. I wouldn't necessarily start in season 7, even though it's free on YouTube, because I think that might set your expectations high as far as casting goes.
Yeah, that series was the perfect casting I think they'll ever have on Taskmaster.
Yeah, we just started season 5.
Yeah, we started series 5. Because
again, you don't like 4.
Today.
You don't like, and the people on 4 are mostly boring. And so, we kind of got off the rails. It's a fun show. And again, I started it on the first one.
Yeah. Was that the one with the guy that didn't laugh? And they're like, I think we should stop laughing at him.
That's 2.
Okay. So if you've never watched Taskmaster, go watch series 2.
It's on YouTube for free.
Of Taskmaster first.
Yeah.
That needs to, that sets the bar.
Because you watched part of series 1, whatever, but not much of it, because
I lost interest.
Yeah, but
with Paul, my word,
it's like watching an alien.
I told you, I said he's not a real human.
Yeah.
He's not a real human, and you have to go and watch it for yourself to see what I mean, because I can't put it into words, but he's not a real person.
Yeah,
he is either an AI in skin, or he's an alien pretending to be a human, but he's not a real person.
Yeah,
it's not real. It's insane. There's so many things that happen that are incredible and mind-blowing.
At one point, one of the other contestants is like, I don't think we should be laughing at him, because it almost feels like, oh, is there something wrong with him?
Yeah, like it feels like they're making fun of him and he doesn't get it.
I don't think that's the case. But I think he's just a very strange guy.
Yeah, he's so weird.
I don't feel like he has like a mental disability or anything like that.
There's just some. He's just an alien.
Anyway, Taskmaster's great. It basically they get all these mostly comedians to do these like really bizarre things, and it's usually timed. And it's like, hey, the first person to throw something into a garbage can on the other side of this fence wins, fastest wins, and or like weird little things like that. And it's very mundane stuff, but it's very funny with how people's brains work to get the task done.
Like some of these people are a lot more creative.
Yeah,
some
are
people very straightforward.
That's how you would do it.
But it's funny because a lot of these, the directions that they're given, like you cannot do this, you cannot do that, and you have to do this. Like some of the people that have maybe done it before or have like really creative brains, they think of ways to do it that you would normally think. You're like, wow, I would have never thought to do that, and that's totally within the rules and regulations.
Yeah,
and so it counts.
Yeah, like for example, on that one of them was you had to tie yourself up, and then the guy there, whoever took the longest for him to untie you, you won. And so most of the people went and just tried to tie themselves up very, like, in a ton of knots and make it very hard. And that's well within the rules. That's kind of the straightforward approach. And this one guy was like, oh, well, I'll just tie up the guy who has to untie me and make it to where he can't even get to me. And so he tied that guy up so much that he couldn't even get out of the chair. And then he barely tied his arms together and just waited, and then it was like, oh, it's been like 45 minutes, like it's over.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like, so that guy obviously won because it took the guy timing it, who had to untie them.
He never got out of the chair.
He never got out. So obviously that's going to make this take the longest time.
Yeah, and it's just
it's very work smarter, not harder.
Yeah,
and it's just like, how creative can you get with it?
And like 11 of the series are free on YouTube, and they tried to do a US version in 2018, and Hannah and I watched some of that. Very bad casting. Very bad casting. And I like some of the comedians on it. The problem was, they brought the co-creator from the British show, who's like the co-host. He was on the American one, and they brought the showrunner from the UK to help do this. The problem is, the person that they picked to host was Reggie Watts, and he just doesn't. He's more of a sidekick. If you don't know who he is, he's the music director for James Corden, but he also was the music guy for Comedy Bang Bang for years, and he's definitely a like second fiddle type guy.
He would be perfect as a co-host. Yes. Not the main
He doesn't have the like energy of, oh, I'm going to be kind of mean and make fun of these people and be like ruling, which is what you need. And then also they cast some very unlikable people as the comedians on the show. And the way the show works is the 5 comedians that are cast are there for the entire season. And so it's multiple episodes of the same 5 people.
It's shot over the course of several weeks.
Yeah. And it's just, man, they picked like
real duds.
Lisa Lampanelli is a nightmare person, and she's not funny.
I didn't like it because
you didn't even know I've known her for years.
I did not know her, but we'll
get to the challenge.
We watched that one episode, not even the full episode, because I couldn't handle it, because she was just dogging one of the other comedians, not in a funny way. She was just being really mean.
Her whole career has been, oh, I'm offensive and I'm mean, and then that's my comedy.
But it wasn't mean in a funny way.
No, it's not. It's always just
because we have watched one of these British series of Taskmaster where they do like pick and poke at each other a little bit, but it's like, ha ha ha. Well,
tongue in cheek.
Yeah, you did that this way, but this is how I did it. You should have done it like me.
Yeah, you moron,
and then drop it.
Yeah.
But she was just like going at like after this one person over and over and over and over again. Oh, I was talking about one of the other competitors.
Oh, I was talking about.
And then she went after the co-creator, the co-host of the show, and nobody goes after him. Like,
well, they do. Well, they,
but not really.
Not like. They're not really like mean to him. Like, they're joking and like make fun of him, but it's, I don't know. Lisa Lampanelli is just not funny. Like, Ron Funches is on there. I love Ron Funches. He's great. They had this British actor who was on there, he was fine because he knows the original show, and then the other 3 were not good casted, and it's just like
you've got to have like one or two. It's got to be fun. You got to have 1 or 2 really funny people. You've got to have one crazy, insane person.
Yeah,
and then you've got to have a dumb person.
Yeah,
and then maybe an old person.
Yeah, and then you just pick someone. But yeah, it's just they picked some very unlikable people, and I'm a huge fan of comedy, and I was like, this is not fun to watch.
I did not.
So don't watch the U.S. version, even though there are clips of it out there, because that is not good.
Pull up YouTube, go watch Series 2 first, and then watch Series 7.
Yeah, Paul F. Tompkins is who got me to start watching it because I've known about it for a long time, and he was talking about how good it is and how much of a shame it was that the U.S. version didn't work because. He's like, I think it could really work. You just have to have the right cast.
Paul F. Tompkins would be great
he would
as
be
a competitor.
Great on the show.
He would be an excellent competitor. I'd love to see Ron Funches. Like, Ron Funches. I don't know what happened with my mouth. I'd love to see Ron Funches get another shot at it.
You just need people that are likable.
Yeah, you need fun, kind of crazy people to just do off the rails kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You just need James Acaster on every season.
He's great.
He's perfect for this show.
But he's mean, but like at the same time, he's not.
He makes fun of himself too.
Yeah, and he's not actually like mean. So it's a weird balance. Anyway, we might do a Taskmaster podcast
or a Taxmaster.
No, we'd both be bad at that.
Yeah.
So we are. We're going to jump into episode 4 of the Challenge USA, which I don't know if people are calling it the Challenge CBS or the Challenge USA. By the way, shout out to Greg in our Slack group, Patreon. Man, we were talking about that Ashley and D elimination, and he just set the record straight. And I was like, to me, it's so incredible how you can keep all of these facts straight after all these seasons.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's mind-blowing. And so basically they did a thing together where they smashed the pot. So I was right on that part. But the second half of it, and it was on Total Madness. It wasn't on, because I forgot that she got in trouble in the middle of Total Madness and got kicked off. Or not kicked off, but kind of edited out. Then they had to put seasons in order. That was the second half of it. So that's what it was. So anyway, episode 4 of USA.
We finally get new pairings.
We do. So I don't write any of these down.
I don't either. But is this how they're going to do it for the rest of the season where, they have the elimination and then they don't show any of the new pairings at the end of the episode? Like, that's how they're starting the new one.
It's kind of like a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Which to me is not a huge cliffhanger.
Not really, because they're going to be paired with somebody different.
Yeah.
Desi, the only note I just have a couple. Desi does not seem excited about being partnered with Leo.
It's because he constantly compares himself to a cat.
Yeah, she said it's way too much, and she can't stand it.
I mean, from what we've seen, he's talked about cats a lot.
Yes. Specifically, his cat named after himself.
Unless we're wrong on the first episode, he does have a cat named after himself.
Yes.
Which, again, he got so excited about the Catwoman question.
Yeah, it enough that everybody's giving him the cringe look. I was uncomfortable with it. But whatever.
I did write that David has more screen time in the first 3 minutes than the first 3 episodes so far.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. He's basically done nothing and been in the background this entire time. He ended up having
an okay.
Well, he had an okay elimination, but I think we'll get to that in a little bit. That's more of a Xavier flaw to me.
Kayla says that she hit the jackpot getting Tyson as a partner. I think that's always going to be a fact.
But then they didn't do well.
They did what? They did well. They came
But they didn't win their round even.
No, they didn't. Yeah. They didn't win. They came second in their round, which is not bad.
They didn't even make the winners bracket thing. So we did find out that Derek knows all of the survivors players games because apparently he's watched their seasons
and he studied all the Big Brother people before coming too.
Oh well, he's on Big Brother. So we also find out Xavier has a confessional, and he's like, I've moved past the backstabbings and the deception and all that. Some people maybe hung up on it, but I've moved on. Like, we just need to get going. And I was like, well, yeah, when you win, it helps.
Yeah, I looked at you and I said, that's because he won.
Yeah, I'd already made that note, so I knew we were on the same page. It's like, yeah, when you win that much money, it makes it a lot easier to move on from the people that you screwed over.
Yeah, like it's one thing to move on from backstabbing, but it's another thing to move on from backstabbing that you did.
Yeah, it's like
he was not the one that got backstabbed. He was the one doing the stabbing in the back.
Yeah, he's like, guys, listen, we can move on. Yeah, I stabbed you in the back, and then I wanted to have a ton of money, and you didn't. It's fine. And it's
but you're hung up on it, and I've
like
long moved past it.
I do like Xavier, and I'm going to make this declaration right now.
Of independence?
No. They have more likable Big Brother people on this season than any of them that have been on the main challenge show so far.
Josh.
Absolutely. This is like. But
the thing is, Josh had a turning point. We're Josh fans now.
No, we are not.
I think I am.
Okay, no.
I think Jake might be too.
No, Jake talks about watchability. That's not being a fan. But there's a difference.
But we get excited when he's cast.
I don't. I could care less if he's on the show or not. In fact, I would rather him not be on the show because he's been on for 6 seasons in a row now. I don't know if it's been that many, but it's been a lot. It's been since War of the Worlds. He's been on at least 5 seasons in a row. And so that's the thing. I think Xavier would be a ton of fun to watch on the main show. I think Katelin would have been fun to watch on the main show. I think Derek would have been fun to watch on the main show.
I don't know how long Derek would last on the main show.
I'm not saying that either, but he is a different type of player.
Right. Very different.
And Angela, honestly, is very good, but she is pretty boring.
Yeah,
she's not quite
Casey,
but she is just kind of like, oh, I'm just going to be good and kind of hang out in the background. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of whoever. I just think this kind of showed, oh, well, we've just got only not fun Big Brother people so far. And there's probably some people that are very mad at me for saying that. And there's probably other ones that are like, yes, you finally get it. And,
I mean, yeah, because, it's been well documented that we've not been fans of any of the Big Brother people that have been on the challenge.
And we've interviewed some of them.
And we have. To give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Prove us wrong.
I think they've mostly proven us right.
Yeah, I don't think our minds have changed. But I will say, Angela's from Big Brother. I like Angela.
I like Angela. She's boring,
I do agree. Though. There's not enough going on there that intrigues me, and she's not gotten she didn't get a lot of screen time this episode. But again, probably because of David, who I finally learned who that was today.
I don't think he's going to be much of a consideration going forward. But.
Even Justine, who is his new partner, said that nobody in the house views him as a threat. And I think that says something.
That was the number one thing Grimm and Connor agreed on coming into that podcast was they're like, he shouldn't even be here. Yeah. He came in 11th on their Big Brother season or something. And they're like, he's not fun, and he shouldn't be on the show.
He's apparently not on anybody's radar.
Yeah, he basically hasn't been in the first 3 episodes.
I did not know what he looked like until this episode when they showed his face multiple times so that I could learn it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He hasn't been here. So we get to the daily. It's always a fun one. It's trivia, but it's called Falling Off the Knowledge, no ledge, KNOW ledge, which. That's a big gripe with this season. All of their namings for the dailies and the eliminations have been very bad.
Yeah, my note was these daily names and jokes, all caps, suck.
Yeah.
Let me clarify. I'm glad that TJ clarified that he did not write this joke.
I think he gave him, yeah, boy, or whatever, and then he's like, you know what? If this next one doesn't land, he's like, I'm just gonna tell him this isn't me. And
it's not him. And you can tell in the delivery, everybody's like, this is not you.
I like it because it's just showing that he's like, yeah, this is kind of lame, and
it's very lame.
TJ's got to be authentic, and that's what we expect from him.
His authenticity came through during the daily when he's making these people plummet to their almost death.
Which, by the way, again, that button... That is almost 100% just a decoy, but
he's still having fun smashing it.
He does. He has fun. How did you feel about Enzo kept saying doo-doo pies?
My note was, what the heck is with doo-doo pies? Enzo is a time traveler from the 1920s, and nobody can convince me otherwise. I said this, I think, the last episode, because he was dressed like one of those train track workers.
Yeah.
You know, the guys that get on like the little wooden carts, and they get on the wooden carts, and they there's two of them. They teeter tot, and they pump to make it go.
His cast picture's kind of like that too.
Yeah, so like I said, he looks like it now. He not. It's not even that he said doo-doo pies once. He said it twice. He made an emphasis to say the phrase doo-doo pies, and thought that it wasn't.
So I couldn't
the cringiest thing in the world.
I couldn't place why that phrase stuck out to me so much, and so I just Googled it, and there was an old Saturday Night Live skit from like the early 2000s with Tracy Morgan and Britney Spears was Britney Spears was the guest that
the musical
night.
Guest.
I think she may have been the host as well, but she goes down in a sewer, and Tracy Morgan's down in there, and he is homeless. And he sings her a song, and the last line of the song is, "Up and down the sidewalk, take a doo-doo pie." And I'm like, that's the only time I've ever heard that phrase in my life. And I'm gonna pull it up.
Well, that's the thing. Doo-doo pies is like a phrase that Tracy Morgan would say.
Exactly. And he's supposed to be a crazy homeless person.
Like, that sounds like him. He can get away with it. Other people cannot.
And then they brought him back 4 years ago with Keenan to do it. But I'm going to see if this is...
Nobody else says that phrase.
Oh, I don't want to see an ad from Jessica Alba. Although I do wear that underwear.
Jessica Alba's underwear?
No. That was it. And because he like convinces her to go back out and live her life. And I don't know why he's saying that song, but that phrase is burned in my head. And thank you, Enzo, for bringing it back to me. Maybe it's a New York thing. It seems like he's from New York. And Saturday Night Live's in New York. I don't know. But that's definitely going to be the name of the episode.
I just don't understand. I
really
don't.
Danny says that if he dies, Kiki can get whatever she wants and buy whatever purses she wants. And
she can buy all the shoes and purses if he dies from this challenge.
I mean, he doesn't have much of a say anyway if he's dead.
Well, this is his video will. He says he loves his wife, Kiki, and if he dies, she has all the money, the house, everything.
It's also his one per episode of at least talking about his wife, Kiki.
He did get one in this episode.
And again, it was cut in a way that I think that he probably just said my wife, and then they added Kiki in there to make it flow the way it's been going.
Well,
I can't prove it until we got someone from production in here.
But he loves his wife, Kiki.
Yeah. Again, she sounds like a great woman.
We love a man who loves his wife.
Yeah. That sounds like you love one specific man who loves his wife. I said life, I think, and I may have not said that. I'm reading my notes at the same time. Also, I did like how the trivia this time was multiple answers until someone gets it wrong, because sometimes other people get much easier questions than other contestants. So sometimes it's like, oh, that was pretty easy, and then the next one's like, wow, that's a real tough one, and it's just kind of luck of the draw.
Like one person will get, oh, what's the square root of 7,657?
I could probably figure that out.
No, but
that's not with the 7 at the end. That's gonna be tough.
Okay, well, so it's like, what's the square root? Yeah. And then the next person is like, oh, what's one primary color?
11.
Yep.
I like the multiple answer thing because it puts everyone on an even playing field until someone just can't answer. And I did enjoy that. I'm not going to go through a lot of this other stuff, except that Dom thinks that a great white shark is not an animal,
argued about it.
Even though they've already accepted that whale was a correct answer from the first one. And then the whale was fine, but then they said great white shark. He's like, not an animal. And
Angela's like,
what are you talking about?
Yes, it is. And he's like, it's a fish. And she was like, a fish is an animal.
But for a while, he didn't even specify it's a fish. He was like, no, it's not an animal. And I was like, what does he think it is? Maybe. And then in the confessional, he's like, I don't have time to argue about this. He's like, it's whatever.
I think maybe in the heat of the moment, he was thinking mammal instead of animal.
Maybe, but...
and maybe he was embarrassed, and in the confessional, he's like, I'm not even gonna deal with it.
But sharks have live births, so they might be mammals.
I don't think so.
Because dolphins are considered mammals.
That's different. They breathe air.
They can't. Yeah, I know that it's like you can't lay eggs except if you're a platypus.
They're not mammals.
Okay, I'm not a animal genealogist.
This pulled up. I should have just texted my sister. She's a marine biologist.
Well, it's also almost 11 o'clock.
She's on her phone. This graph says shark, and then it has the equal sign with a line through it. And then it says mammal.
Yeah, but they do have live births. They give birth to them live, unlike a lot of fish that lay eggs.
Sharks are fish, even though some people believe they are mammals due to how big some of them can get and because some give birth to live young. Fish are aquatic animals that were among the first vertebrates, animals with a backbone to evolve on Earth.
Sharks are, the ocean in general is terrifying when you really think about what we don't know is down there.
Oh my gosh, there's so many.
I just read an article that said, you know what? And when I say I read an article, I read the headline of an article.
Okay, great. That's not reading an article. You should. It
actually wasn't even just.
Should know better.
It was a headline and then the byline, and then I didn't. I meant to go back and read it, but I didn't. But it was like they found some skeletons now that they're like, oh, the Loch Ness Monster may be a possibility now, and
the Loch Ness Monster is absolutely a thing, not a possibility, but a certain fact.
Well, Jeremy Wade tried to catch it on River Monsters.
Yeah, I watched that episode several times.
He never did.
No.
But anyway, Dom and Angela end up winning their round despite him not thinking that great white shark is an animal. Danny and Kira were the first to fall. Mm-hmm. And then I just wrote Leo is wild because that's when he's like Catwoman and he's like
yeah. No, but I had one note on Danny. I think maybe it's another round because all my notes are together. Danny does not know crap about hockey, even though he's a professional athlete.
Yeah, I he ended up coming in clutch with the Penguins thing.
Well, he won. So the question was, name a professional hockey team that has won the Stanley Cup in the last 10 years.
I think that was...
Maybe
I don't think it was 10 years. I think there was another question that was within the last whatever.
I think it was in the last 10 years because I was like, well, man, the last 10 years, that's not a long time.
Yeah.
But also... I don't watch hockey. Yeah. I don't know much about it. And so I just started naming whatever hockey teams I knew, which I started off with the Toronto Maple Leafs, which I'm pretty sure they probably have.
They did. They said that, I think. Yeah.
But like, I wouldn't know their name unless they were really good.
I know the Tampa Bay Lightning have won it twice, I think, recently.
My second one was the Rangers.
Yeah.
Somewhere? The Rangers are somewhere?
Yeah, I can't remember. New York Rangers.
Okay, New York Rangers.
There's the Washington Capitals, and then you have...
I know the Nashville Predators, but I don't know if they've ever won.
I think the St. Louis Blues won recently, and then you have like Pittsburgh Penguins, like they said, and...
well, Danny guessed he's like Pittsburgh, the one in Pittsburgh, and obviously TJ's like, well, what's their team?
Yeah.
And I thought he was just going to throw something out. And then he did. He'd sat for a second and was like, oh, no, the Penguins. That's not right. And TJ was like, it is.
Yeah. The Pittsburgh Penguins have Sidney Crosby, who's one of the best players in like the last 10 or 15 years. But
Any relation to Bing Crosby?
I don't think so. He's just had a lot of head injuries, like concussion stuff that he hasn't really been able to like live up to what he was supposed to be.
Hockey's a very...
You get hit in the head a lot. And the team that lost that round, it may have been them later on, but they said Las Vegas, and that team's only been... The Golden Knights have only been around for like 2 years.
I didn't even know Las Vegas had a hockey team.
Yeah. And so Seattle's getting one, and they're the Seattle Kraken, which is awesome.
I thought you were going to say crackheads.
No. Like the big like octopus that like attacks ships, or squid, maybe a squid. Leo gets super horny about the Catwoman question.
I don't like you using that
word. But he probably was, because based on what he said.
I don't like you using that word.
I could name 3 Catwomen. I could not name more than 3.
Well, I yelled at Halle Berry immediately.
Halle Berry's the obvious one. And
I forgot about Anne Hathaway.
And then...
Michelle Pfeiffer
was the other one from the like late 80s. And I don't know if I can name a different one. Because I don't even... Is there... Zoe Kravitz. Forgot about her.
That's right, because that's the new one.
Yeah.
Had that movie come out by the time they filmed this?
Probably not.
So that wouldn't count.
Yeah. Other than that, I couldn't name any more. So.
By the way, that Robert Pattinson Batman movie, really good.
Yeah, Jake didn't really like it. He thought it got kind of boring, but I liked it a lot.
I liked it a lot. I actually want to watch it again.
I'm okay for right now. But
I want to watch it tonight.
Yeah, it's long. So in the next round, Derek and Sarah fall first because I don't even remember what the question was. It may have been the Batman question.
Yeah, it was because it was all about movies, and Derek was saying how Kyland is like this big movie buff, and then Derek was like, I don't watch movies. Yeah, and
but I want to say they got through 2 questions though, because she was like, oh, he didn't know Batman. But he knew this. He should know this next thing, and then they ended up falling. And I was like, well, why is he the only one that's supposed to know things?
I don't know, but I know for a fact that they missed their Batman question, their Catwoman.
What did
question.
He say then?
He said
he said
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
They were like, TJ was like, that's actually a good guess, but no.
She's Black Widow.
Yes.
Different universe.
Mm-hmm.
So Katelin and Alyssa win. Good run for Katelin. Alyssa, ironically, had Tyson last episode did not win, but then she wins with Katelin. Mm-hmm. And then the next round, David and Justine lose right away, and then Ben and Azza end up winning. And I did not think they had a chance because he's like, I don't watch TVs or movies. And he's like, I live on a farm.
In a farmhouse with his parents.
I don't even remember what the question was for them. It wasn't Batman, but it was another TV related. Best actress.
Best
Oscar winners.
No, that has been nominated.
I thought it was Oscar winners for
best actress or best supporting actress. And the first answer should always be Meryl Streep.
Wait, that was the one that was within the last 10 years. I think the hockey one was just in general.
Okay.
That one for sure was the last 10 years because I was like, ooh, that's tough.
Meryl Streep always.
Yeah.
Always go with Meryl Streep.
And then they pulled out Lupita. I can't ever say her last name.
Nyong'o.
Yeah. And I was like, man, that's a good pull.
Well, that's a really good one because I didn't realize she had either, if it's been nominated or won, I didn't realize she had one of those.
I think it was one for either best actress or best supporting actress.
But she's really good. I've been following her on Instagram for a long time.
Yeah, I wonder if it was from Us that she won.
Maybe.
Let's see. Oh God, she's got a lot.
Yeah.
Man, she's got a lot more than I thought. Let's look at her. She has citizenship in Kenya and Mexico.
I didn't know she had it in Mexico.
I forgot she was Kenyan because I've been to Kenya a bunch of times, if you don't know that.
Your mom just got back from Kenya like 2 days ago.
She just got back, yeah.
Wait, no, yesterday.
Yeah, so where's her... it's not even showing me. It's fine. She's won a lot of awards because she's a good actress.
She's very good.
But yeah, it's
who else? If that's in the last 10 years, who else?
Someone said Sandra Bullock.
Has Sandra Bullock been in anything in the last 10 years?
Well, yes, she's definitely been.
Oh wait, yes, she has, because she was in The Lost City.
Yeah,
I don't think she would have gotten anything nominated for that though.
No, she's going to be in that Bullet Train movie,
which I'm excited about.
Which is a Korean remake, from what I.
But I really want to see that. I think it's going to be a fun little flick.
Laura Dern was one for Best Supporting Actress.
Okay.
Oh, this is going back to 1936.
Well, we need to go to the last 10 years.
Yeah. 2020s. Oh, wow. Those are the actors that have been nominated. that girl that was in Borat's subsequent movie film got nominated. The girl.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, she did good. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to go through all that. It's too much to read through. But yeah, that would have been a tough one because I don't honestly watch the Oscars. I'm aware of them, but I don't think I ever sit down and watch them. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. But I wasn't watching it when it happened. I was just on Twitter, and everyone's like, "What just happened?" I saw a comedian today post a link to the New York Times article. It's like, Will Smith slaps Chris Rock at the Oscars, and people are like, "What? No!" Like sarcastically, mm-hmm. And he's like, "I think a lot of people are going to be talking about this tomorrow." And, so the losers round, David and Justine are the ultimate losers. They go straight into elimination. Danny does his Dragon Ball Z thing, which I gotta admit, never watched any Dragon Ball Z. It doesn't really appeal to me, if I'm being honest. I don't know the lore behind it. It also.
Well, they're not Vikings.
I know, but there's still lore. Do you think lore only applies to Vikings? That's a yes from the silence and the way that you're looking at me. So, yeah, lore is just in general, like Destiny has lore and like Halo has, like, it's not Viking specific. Okay, we're just gonna move on from that. There's too much Dragon Ball Z. I know that there's some YouTube channels that have edited out like 1,000 hours of Dragon Ball Z of flashbacks to make it more palatable to watch in like a certain order. I don't have time for that, and I'm never gonna have time. And it's just, I'm gonna die and never see Dragon Ball Z, and I'm fine with it.
I think I've watched part of one episode like probably 15 years ago now. Because it just happened to be on TV.
I've got friends who like it a lot.
It was like...
I'd rather watch Taskmaster.
It was back when I was a kid, I had a TV in my room, and like I had to have it off by like a certain time, and I would wait for my parents to go to bed, and I would turn it back on.
All the time.
I would turn it back on.
That was like doing drugs, like that rush of like listening and watching, and then like you think you hear something, so you turn off and jump in bed, and you lay there. And then you just wait for a minute, and then you turn it back on. I remember specifically watching a Goofy movie way beyond my bedtime.
Why a Goofy movie?
I mean, it wasn't
of all the things you could watch.
Well, I wasn't watching anything bad. I wasn't like watching pornography or anything, but it was just like I wasn't supposed to be awake.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, a Goofy movie's on. I'm gonna watch it. And,
no, I would. I think a lot of times, like my TV curfew was like 9:30 or 10, and so I would wait until like 10:30, 10:45 when everybody else in the house was asleep, and I would turn, because like my room was on the opposite end of the house of my parents, so there's no way they'd hear it unless they just decided to get up and come check on me, which happened frequently. But I would turn my TV on, put it on Adult Swim, and I would. I would have the volume on like 1 or 2, but never like above 3. So I could barely even hear it, but I would just have it on just to have it on. But there were times, like even before my curfew would come, where I would just be flipping through the channels, and I'd be watching one thing, and then I would leave the room to go do something. I'd come back, and Dragon Ball Z would be on. And I tried. Not on
Adult Swim, though.
No, not on Adult Swim. Like before the curfew.
Oh, gotcha.
Like earlier in the day. But it would just be on when I came back to the room, and in the middle of an episode. Like, so I tried to sit down and be like, oh, what's this? Could not get into it.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And so I would just go to a different channel.
Yeah, there's a lot. And there's a lot of yelling. And
that's probably what I didn't like about it. The yelling.
So in the winners round, Katelin and Alyssa, they end up winning. So they get back to the house and Xavier's talking. He expects them to take shots at him in this confessional. And then they're kind of joking. And he was like, if you come after me, then I'm going to come after both of y'all and throw you in.
Well, it seemed like...
He wasn't joking, but he was trying to play it off like he was.
It seemed like Xavier approached Katelin and Alyssa.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, congratulations on your win. And then, like, pointed to Alyssa and was like, you did really great today. And like the whole thing was like, you're so fake.
Well, he actually, I believe he said, I knew Katelin was going to kill it. He's like, I thought you'd be good too. It was like an afterthought.
Yeah.
And but anyway, we get a winners and losers talk, which is just a thing now. And Justine does not want to go against Cinco and Shannon because that's two Love Island people and that's two people in their alliance. And so they float the idea out of Xavier and Shan, and they're like, yeah, we'd much rather do that. And so then, inexplicably, Tyson gets to have a one-on-one with the winners and tell them what he thinks.
I think this is a first for this season.
Yeah.
And for this crew.
Like, they stayed in the room, and Tyson's like, it's my turn now. And he
well, it seems like they requested Tyson to come in as, like, consultation.
They didn't close the door, so it wasn't like a secret meeting or anything like the other one is. But, yeah, he just kind of was like, oh, yeah. He was very, like, he veiled his emotions because he was like, oh, yeah, if that's what you guys want to do. But he's like, yeah, you want to take out strong Big Brother players? I'm all for it. Go for it.
Well, they asked him, they're like, this is what we want to do. What do you think? And he was like, honestly, I fully support it.
Yeah.
Whatever you guys want to do.
And then they bring in Angela.
Yeah.
And she gets a one-on-one with him. And at least she's Big Brother, so that makes a little bit more sense. And she's like, you know what? We're going to have to go against each other at some point. And she's like, in her confessional, it's like, if they do it, that's blood on their hands, and they're kind of seen as wild card, and I don't have anything in it.
Exactly.
And she's like, just blame everything on Shan. Say that's where the issue is. Mm-hmm. And that's
so, like, that was like her consultation, or like they had a consultation with Tyson, and they had a consultation with Angela, and Angela was like, here's what you should do. Like, you should absolutely do it if you guys feel like that's what you want to do. But she's like, for a little damage control, just kind of throw it all on Shan, and she'll have a complete come apart. And, then if they happen to win, it won't come back on you guys as much because it'll show, like, everybody in the house and Xavier
doesn't trust her,
that you guys just don't want to be partnered with Shan in the future.
Yeah. I mean, it is a little bit of a cop-out, but it's better than just being like, I don't know, we just put you guys in.
Yeah.
So Cachet is talking to Shan and tells them that Love Island is just going to back Survivor all the way. And so that's making a, like, tail-end alliance. They're adding on there, like, 4 people to the end of Survivor, which just makes Survivor stronger. They don't really need the Love Island people, but it's better to have more numbers than that.
Yeah, that's 4 more votes.
But then Shan... in the next confessional, or it may have been to Cachet, says that Katelin is insufferable. And she also says that Alyssa is really annoying too. And I was like, what has Katelin done that's been insufferable?
Katelin hasn't done
I was
anything.
like, I don't see what Alyssa's done either. I was like, but Katelin, like, he's just performed.
Yeah.
And, like, he hasn't been boastful. He hasn't been rubbing it in people's faces. And I was like, I don't get that.
I think Shan is just mad and, like, deflecting because I think she thinks that they might be on the chopping block.
I don't know. She seemed she seemed more surprised than Xavier that they were picked. But maybe he just has a better poker face. So we get to the elimination, and we get in there, and they see it's kind of a puzzle. And Derek, who's, like, paired with Alyssa, I mean, not partners, but they're in an alliance together. He basically is trying to, like, give her signals, like, don't throw Xavier in. Like, it's a puzzle. Like, this is what he excels at, which we don't know, but I'm going to take his word for it because they were on the same Big Brother season.
And he, like, immediately starts mouthing to Alyssa, he was don't do it. Don't do it.
And Karen and Alyssa do pick Xavier and Shan. And Xavier gives his confessional, and he's like, "You guys are basically so dumb." It's like, I play to win games, not to get even, and we're gonna. And
he said that they're still stuck on what happened on their Big Brother season, and they can't get past it.
Of course, he's past it,
and like they're just dwelling on the past.
Yeah.
And he said they're just playing to get even instead of playing to win. Yeah. And I was like, I think Xavier's just mad that he's tasting his own medicine.
Yeah. I think he was a little blindsided by it. I don't think he expected to go in. Also, this elimination is called Smash In Puzzle Out. Horrible name.
Yeah.
Maybe the laziest name.
It's like whoever in production normally names the dailies and eliminations maybe went on vacation or couldn't come, and they just had an intern come up with it, or maybe just like somebody random else from another area of production name it.
As someone who is currently applying for a bunch of jobs, some of which I'm not qualified for, I feel like someone's like, "Oh yeah, I can do that. I got it." And then they get in, they're like, "Hey, we've been asking you for like 4 days what the name of this is going to be. Like, we're filming tonight." And like, Smash In Puzzle Out. I don't know.
And they're like, perfect.
Yeah, they're like, I guess that's what you're paid to do. And
I hate that someone's getting paid to name these.
I would assume there's not someone specifically being paid just to name stuff, but who knows? They all seem to have a very similar voice behind them this season, and it's not a good one.
It's a bad voice.
So we find out the glass is color-coded. And basically, if you break your partner's glass color, you get a 5-second penalty. And there's a bunch of glass panes. And
so you punch yours. Your partner punches the next one. You punch yours.
But it's not always back and forth like that. Sometimes it's A, B, B, A.
But like that's the thing. Like if you're yellow, you punch the yellow.
Yeah.
If they're red, they punch the red.
It's black and white, but yeah.
I saw some of them were red.
I swear it was a black circle and a white circle.
It doesn't matter. You punch your own glass. Your partner punches their own glass. If you punch your partner's glass, you get a 5-second penalty.
Yeah, because we had that one elimination with Zach and Trey in Rivals 2, where if one person broke through the floor of the thing, the next one, the other person had to go through first. And Zach broke that rule. And they got disqualified, even though they won.
Yeah.
And
then Zach got mad and threw his helmet into the audience.
Yeah. And so Xavier in the confessional before the thing says, "I might just punch through every pane and take the penalty." And I was like, well, that's definitely a strategy. And I was like, that could very much, I mean, even if it was only a 30-second penalty, I was like, that's still 30 seconds to get a head start on a puzzle. And I was like, this other team does seem kind of dumb, if I'm being honest.
But 30 seconds is longer than you think when you're just standing there.
It ended up being a
50.
It was a 50, but the other team had 10, so it was a 40-second difference. And I think if they would have had that time, or if they would have had 10 or 20, that it would have been very much a different outcome.
I can't believe he went ahead and did it.
Yeah.
I think
that's a little bit arrogance.
He probably thought that it would take David and Justine a lot longer to get through everything than what it did.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, they stayed pretty close behind them.
Yeah, yeah. It didn't make up enough time to justify the penalty. And so, like, he didn't get through it that much quicker than they did by alternating.
Well,
and so
it ended up biting them in the butt, and they lost. And David and Justine ended up winning.
We already said you might be here at the end.
Do you want me to drop in and make a cameo up here?
I mean, you can. We're at the very end of the episode.
Okay.
Your mic's over there.
Well, it's not plugged in.
It's not.
It's not plugged in.
You can just talk in that one.
It's been a while, but how's everybody doing tonight?
We're pretty good.
All right, have a good night, everyone.
Okay, see ya.
Bye.
He just got here.
He's leaving.
They got a puppy here too.
Okay, hold on. We got to get through this.
Yeah, we're almost done.
David and Justine win. I may not have known who David was before today, but one thing's for sure, he did a really good job hyping up his partner.
Yeah. I do think if Xavier does not feel the need to smash through all those panes on his own, that it would have been a different outcome. But that's very much hubris where he was like, I can do it no matter what. And you know what? To be fair to the other team, they pulled through and they won.
And you know, my last little note on this, Shane and Xavier both are very, very, very incredibly sore little losers.
I wrote he's big mad. Like he's
they're just mad and calling
like,
names.
I still got money. Screw you guys. You're dumb and you're broke. And I appreciate that from a TV standpoint.
Yeah.
I really do. And I think that everyone in the house should shake hands with Katelin and Alyssa for, one, having the balls to do that move.
Yeah.
And then 2, for it working out.
Right.
Because
it almost didn't, but it did.
But it did. And it's one of those fine lines. Like, when they were deciding to make the call, I was like, is it too early to like cannibalize someone who was this good in your alliance? Mm-hmm. And I was like, it's like, if you think you got we always talk about, you always regret not taking the shots when you have the chance, because they can come back to bite you at the end, where they can either get you out or they're in the final with you. And like, when you got a shot to take out a good competitor, you got to at least try. Mm-hmm. And because you already know he has no problem cutting your throat, essentially, because he already did it on Big Brother.
Right.
And I think Xavier from the Big Brother group might have been the favorite to win. I know Kylan's performed a little bit better, but Xavier did win their season, so that
he's probably good at
gives him a
politicking.
little bit of an edge. And so yeah, I think good to them. So
I don't know why Shan was so mad,
because she
just kept calling them petty.
She got blindsided and she didn't perform.
She was just angry this episode,
which is not a good thing you want out of your pastor.
No, it's not. I forgot that's who that was.
Yeah.
My gosh.
So do you have any final thoughts on this episode, or do you want to get into this?
My final thoughts were that they're sore losers.
All right, so I want to go first on the superlatives this week. So who smashed some heads?
Who smashed some heads?
You, Sean Connery. I'm giving it very much to Katelin and Alyssa, not because they won the daily, but because they both got revenge on someone who took them out of Big Brother, mm-hmm. and then also took out one of the strongest competitors on the guy's side, as well as, Shan was kind of a wild card to me. I couldn't tell one way or the other if she was going to perform well or perform bad.
I had a feeling she was more bottom of the barrel.
Regardless, you took out someone who was a big threat to win, who has no problem to screw people over to win.
Right.
And so that gives one less like wild card threat out of the house who could legitimately win the show.
Right.
And I like a guy like Xavier would be good on the main show.
Okay.
I think he would be a good cast on like in the group, because some of these people I still don't think would be. I think Tyson would be, like Ben and some, like, I don't know how well they would fit in with because they're different pace than the main show. But I think Xavier could hold his own. I think Katelin could. Katelin might be too nice.
But it's Kylan's dream, and I want Katelin. I want all of Kylan's dreams to come true. But, he's my favorite, I want to see him make it to the main show.
Some people, I believe it was Grimm in our Slack group, popped in and said Katelin was the one who said, I believe it was on a Challenge Mania interview, that he was the one who brought up that he had found out he was on the spectrum to some degree.
Oh, okay.
So that's where some of that information came from. I didn't listen to the interview, so I don't know personally. I try not to listen to things that have to do with the current season, because I'm not spoiled. Hannah's not spoiled.
I'm very not spoiled.
Well, we could wording on that. So who is yours for smash heads?
TJ throwing somebody in production under the bus over the bad joke.
It's not good.
He made a point that everybody there and everybody watching at home knew that he did not write that joke.
For who got their head smashed, do you want to go first on this? I'll let you go first.
Shane and Xavier.
Yeah,
because
they were going to say that.
Boy, they were blindsided, but Shane was big mad before it, and she was even bigger mad after.
Well, since you did that, I'm going to go with Dominic, because he doesn't think a great white shark's an animal.
And he keeps saying doo-doo pie.
No, that's Enzo. That was Incel.
Oh, okay.
They
run together.
They do
kind
of run together for me as well, because I feel like they both could be like, I'm a New Yorker, forget about it. And I don't know if either of them are from New York. I think they both are.
I think it'd be funny if neither were.
That's my pick. I'll go first for the reading recommendation.
Boy, you
for
sure
this week.
like going first.
But I'll let you go first in the first 2 episodes of this, recapping 3 challenge episodes.
Okay.
So I'm going to go this week, another graphic novel, because I'm going to stay with those until I run out of ones that I really like.
I don't think you will.
I don't know. I'm going to pick between A and B. I'm going to say
B.
one this week and one next week. You B?
Yeah.
Okay. B is a series called Analog, which is written by Jeyyy Duggan, who was one of the guys who first got me into comics, honestly. And it is basically set in the future, where not too far in the future, honestly, and where basically everything everyone does online is all public information now. And so anything you do, anyone can see and know about. And so the only people in the future that still go online are either like perverts or like voyeurs or things like that, or criminals. And so they're living in a society where they have like bars where you can't come in if you have a phone or anything like that, because they want it to be analog only, not anything digital. And there's a like Mark Zuckerberg-esque guy behind the scenes, because he leaked everyone's information. And so in the future, very important deals, and like especially like criminal dealings and just anything that's important can't be sent digitally anymore. So what they do is they have these analogs who are paid people who have photocopies, because the way they do everything in the future is all to copy it on like Xerox machines. They photocopy it, put it in a briefcase, handcuff it to someone, and say, you deliver it to this person. And so along the way, people try to kill them to get the information and all that stuff. It's about that, where you're trying to like navigate. The main guy's trying to navigate not getting killed and also delivering the information. He doesn't care. He's impartial of what it is. Like, he's just a delivery guy. And there's like some AI stuff in there. It's honestly not too unfeasible, but it's a really cool concept. I like it. I bought volume 2 when we were on vacation, because I haven't read those yet.
This is another one you've been trying to get me to read.
It's good. It's just a really cool concept, and it already immediately had its rights sold for movie stuff.
I think it would make a really good movie.
I think it's cool. Yeah, it definitely makes sense. We watched 2 movies on a plane that were about tech companies screwing everything up, and we watched Ron's Gone Wrong, which was really, really good.
It was so good.
Ron's Gone Wrong, and then we watched The Mitchells versus the Machine, which wasn't as good, but it was a very similar concept. We watched one on the way to Utah and one on the way back from
If you're
Utah.
only going to watch one of the 2,
Ron's Gone Wrong. It's on Disney+. It's definitely worth watching.
I cried a little.
I did not cry, but it's good. And so, yeah, that's mine. It's called Analog. Very easy.
I think I said in the last episode that I wanted to go with a different medium this week just to mix it up.
You're going to pick a calendar.
A calendar.
The Far Side calendar, where it's a new joke every day.
No. So this one's a web comic called Purple Hyacinth. It is one of my favorite pieces of...
You've told me this, which seems insane.
It is one of my favorite pieces of media ever created, and this is like a little bit of my nerd side that I try to hide from everybody,
including me.
I didn't tell you about it for 2 years.
Yeah.
You found out about it a couple weeks ago.
It was a little longer than that, but yeah,
it was not long ago.
No, I knew you read like the web comics, and I was like, why not? I was like, why don't you just read like award-winning like real ones? Like,
no, this is absolutely awesome. I started reading it when they only had a less than 100,000 readers, and now they have like
11 billion.
I think it's like several million.
How
readers.
would you? Mine is just a trade paperback or comics, and you just look at that. How would people find that? Because I don't even know how to spell the second word in that.
It's the flower, a purple hyacinth.
I don't know how to spell that.
Hyacinth.
Yeah.
They have 103.8 million readers now from when I started reading it.
How do you access it?
On Webtoon. the app.
Yeah, so that's what I was trying to get at.
So just a little bit about it. It's set like 1920s ish. I think they don't actually have the year written, but they're all wearing like the olden time.
They're all running around saying doo-doo pies.
Yeah. No, so like the graphics are really good. The premise of the story is it's a female detective that gets demoted to just a street cop, and there is like a group of criminals that are trying to take down the leaders of the city and implement their own structure and their own leadership, and they hire like crazy assassins, and she actually teams up with like the top assassin in the group to try and take down the leader of the group secretly, and like there's like very graphic death in it, like just crazy stuff, but it's really, really good. It's a lot of mystery. I'm several, they call them like episodes. I'm like 133 episodes in, still don't have any clue who the leader is, who the leader might be. Lots of twists and turns and like unexpected things. But it's really, really good. Just seeing like a cop secretly break the law with teaming up with an assassin who's trying to take down his group too. It's really good. It's so good.
Webtoons.
On Webtoon, the app. Webtoon, the app.
T-O-O-N or T-U-N-E?
Yeah, T-O-O-N.
I didn't know if it was like a Looney Tunes type situation.
I don't think so. But it's called Purple Hyacinth, and it's written by, there's two creators. I know one of them for a fact is like based out of Canada.
I wonder how much money that makes compared to traditional comics.
Oh, and what's so cool is a lot of the episodes have music that goes with the episodes.
It's just kind of interactive.
Yeah, it's kind of interactive. And a lot of the music, one of the creators makes, like, she makes the music, like writes it and like records it on her piano at home.
That is cool. My big gripe with traditional comics is that they're not super accessible to everyone, and that I don't honestly enjoy reading singular comic issues because they're too flimsy, and I feel like I'm going to rip them and all that. I don't mind buying them if it's a series I really like, but that's why I like trades, because they're a thicker material and they're just a lot of them together. Mm-hmm. And so if they would do... Marvel is about the only company that does this, is where when you buy the comic, they give you a code on the inside that you can go on a Marvel Unlimited app and type it in, and it gives you a digital version. And it's kind of an interactive one where, because comics are written a lot of times in like, there's a square here, and then a big square. And so on the Marvel thing, it like pans to wherever the next thing is. So you don't see what's coming ahead, which I like. But
well, it has one panel at a time, so you just scroll up.
I wish that...
or down.
I wish that Image Comics and some of these other creators would do a digital version along with their traditional ones, because that would make... Because I would buy them traditionally to have, and then I would just read them on like my iPad or something.
I like the digital format because with it being one panel at a time, I'm not accidentally jumping ahead and seeing like a major cliffhanger or whatever. Like I'm not being like pre-spoiled like 30 seconds ahead of time. But the Purple Hyacinth, it's like a crime mystery thriller. It's just really good. It sucked me in 2019, and I do
like the idea of having like the theme music behind it. Like, that's a cool concept,
and it's different. Like it sets the tone. It changes depending on like which panel you're on.
Well, Jake's here, like we said. Amanda's here with him, and there's a puppy here with them.
Their puppy, not just a random puppy.
Yeah, and so we got to get going. I didn't say at the top of the show, patreon.com/SmashingHeads podcast. I did tease a new Patreon pod series that I'm probably going to be doing very soon, and so I'll be posting that in just a little bit. But we're doing things on there. We're in the process of moving, hopefully soon. Some things kind of came up with that tonight, not in a bad way. And so just check us out at Smashing Heads on Twitter, at Smashing Heads Podcast on Facebook and Instagram, and we'll be back with you this time next week.
Stay cute.